If you have been wondering how to set up NPCs, where to get them, how many there are, and also how to fix some of the issues with them, you came to the right video. So let's get right to it. First, when do you get NPCs for your base? Well, the answer is pretty simple. After you have finished up the tutorial and you get your first big ship, you can sail around and find the different bases all over the map to get your NPCs. And they have 4 specific NPCs right now in the game. They will probably add some later on. But it is important to note that you can unlock the first 2 NPCs after you get your boat. The other 2 NPCs are a little bit harder. One of them, which is a chef, you will have to have a pretty hard time to get because they are in the tier 2 area. And the fourth, which I would even go so far to say is one of the most important ones, you will not actually be able to use because you do not have the millstone, and you only get the millstone in tier 2, so you have to defeat the first boss. But the other first 2 you can get in Tortuga right here. Well, that doesn't really help you because keep in mind that the maps are completely randomly generated. So even if I show you where to get those NPCs, it will be on a completely different point on your map, depending on the server you are playing, because again, randomly generated world. So this doesn't really help you. But the other 2 NPCs you can find, as I said, are found in the tier 2 areas, and that is Black Axel, which you can find at the main base of the people of Tortuga. That's not Tortuga, that is a different faction, and he gives you a 30% chance to craft an extra portion of food when cooking. But even more important is Mortar Joe. You find him at the Brethren of the Coast at the main base, and you have to assign him to a millstone, which again you cannot get before you are not reaching tier 2, and he increases your gunpowder production by a massive 50%, which is quite a bit. So I would even go so far to say that Mortar Joe, if you have to make the decision which of the NPCs you want, is the first and most important one. Then Black Axel would say is number 2. Rosalinda Mercer, you were also seeing running around in my camp, is number 3 because she is increasing the production for your alchemy, or the basis of your alchemy, right? And gives you also a little bit of a boost to elixirs. And then the last one is Jasper Crow, which you can also get in Tortuga. And he gives you a 30% chance to get the resources back when you are upgrading your armor and only armor. So it's a bit of like a, not so great. So let's say you have bought one of them for 500 silver, right? And, or Piercer, I always forget the name of them. They look like silver coins. What are they called? The piastre. There you go. I always forget the name. You can buy each and every one for 500 each. And you might be wondering, that's weird. They do not show up in my base. Why do they not show up in my base? I cannot assign them. I cannot do anything with them. What is going on? The problem is probably your bonfire. So as you can see here, I put my bonfire down there, and it is very important that your NPCs, in theory, can reach that bonfire. If they can't, the bonfire / NPCs do not recognize it, and they don't know which base they should go. I had my bonfire here on the rooftop because, you know, all the smoke and light, and I thought it made a pretty good fire, which you can see from afar. So I put it there, and none of my NPCs were registering, right? I couldn't utilize the NPCs, so that was pretty shitty, and I had to move it somewhere else. So if you have problems with your NPCs to settle in, please put the bonfire where they can actually reach it. In theory, again, there has to be a path somehow, somewhere there, and then they will pop up. Now, the next question is, of course, well, how do they work for me? So they're not really working for you. They do run around in your base, and it makes them look like, as you have probably seen just a few seconds ago, as if they're working. They do not. What you have to do is you have to assign them to a table, like I did here, right? You are just clicking on worker. It's pretty simple. And then you see she is assigned to this alchemy table, and she gives me the double clay bottle production boost and a 30% chance to craft an extra elixir. And that's that. They are not working for you. They are not producing anything. They're just giving you the perks when they are assigned. With that said, there is one very important note for all the people who are building huge bases with multiple crafting tables. Keep in mind that you are only getting the boost depending on the crafting table you have them assigned to. You can see it here, right? She is assigned. You can see the boost right here. You can see that I would get 2 clay bottles. And then I have the alchemy table right here outside. And you can see I'm not getting any of the boosts because, well, I didn't assign her to this specific one, right? So keep that in mind when you have multiple of the same stations around your base, that you're using them where you have assigned the NPC. But that was probably all you have to know about the NPCs and how they function. If you still have some questions or ideas, let me know down below in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a like. Also, if you're new to the channel, you love RPGs and survival games, you came to the right place. Also, there are a bunch of Windrose videos, also live streams of the game, because I'm really enjoying it right now. And I would appreciate if you consider to subscribe. With that said, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and see you next time. Bye bye.